All right, welcome back to our next episode of Designing the Best You. Remember to check the show notes to sign up for our weekly newsletter, connect with the community, all the links that I'm going to be talking about in the episode. And now let's dive in. So, as we've talked about, building a career is so much more complicated and competitive than ever. I mean, anyone in a job search right now is like, where are the jobs? Wait, there's jobs out there, but why am I not getting a job? Anyways, we will talk about that later, but it's not only true for those who are like what we call like healthy. We all have roadblocks, things holding us back. We all have hidden things that are holding us back. But those with chronic conditions, autoimmune diseases, mysterious symptoms, it can be a lot harder. It pretty much knocks you down if you're doing a job search or you're trying to level up in your career, right? And my work is dedicated to giving you guys the tools to manage your work, create more balance, meet the challenges with resilience. Because some of us, like, we're not going to get rid of our autoimmune diseases. We're not going to get rid of our issues, our circumstances, whatever it may be. Okay. We want to look to the future with hope. Why? I've been there. Okay. I've been there and I'm here to help guide you through this. Okay. There's no way to avoid a lot of this. You got to go through it. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about our third pillar of vitality, movements. And now I say movement versus exercise because people tend to fear exercise. They think they need to go hard, they need to go home, they need to have a specific program they're following, okay, or a set of equipment for success. Okay, almost all of my clients claim they're getting proper movement. But here's the secret: when I run my most basic test, perform a full history, I argue otherwise. And then as I start to dive deeper into the other two tests I run, I'm like, yeah, no, you aren't getting the proper movement for you. Okay. So many of you in corporate are dealing with fast paced and career success, whatever that looks like to you. Okay. Success is different to everyone. And it's a pursuit that many of you guys as professionals hold dear. You're like, I love the fast pace. I love career success, climbing the corporate ladder, achieving financial stability, enjoying job satisfaction. They're all common goals for you guys. Okay. However, there's one critical factor that's often overlooked, not often, all the time overlooked in your career journey, and that's health. Okay. And we're going to talk about physical health today. Okay. And what you need to know today is that the connection between physical health and career success is profound. I can't stress it enough. It is profound and it significantly impacts your professional life. But here's the thing is you need to learn to let go, okay, of some certain things like past beliefs and let symptoms and tests, okay, lab tests transform your patterns. And we're going to go more into that next week, okay? And what I mean by transform, like let symptoms and tests, you're like, why would I let those things? I want to get rid of those. I want to get rid of symptoms. I don't want more tests. And how are they going to transform my thought patterns? Again, stay tuned in for next week, okay? But right now, we're going to be talking about the mind body connection in your career. Okay. We know that is absolutely no secret that a healthy body contributes to a healthy mind, right? Physical fitness and overall, we'll call it wellness or well being, has a direct impact on cognitive abilities, decision making, and productivity. You can just Google and find so many different studies out there on this. Okay. I actually dare you to do that. I'll list some of them in the show notes. Okay. But when you prioritize your physical health, you are going to be mentally alert. You're going to be focused. You're going to be motivated, which so many of you guys want. You're like, get rid of the brain fog. Help me to focus on the things I have to focus. I don't want to be like all over the place. Okay. And all of these things, that mental alertness, that focus, that motivation, those are qualities you've got to have for success in the corporate world. If you want to continue on in the corporate world or in your own business, you got to have those things. And I'm not saying you're going to have those things every day, but heck, 85% of the time, that'd be great, right? Now, I am big on starting in the mind because from personal experience and professional experience, if we start with our physical health, if we start with our physical health, you could actually be doing more damage. Yes, they go hand in hand. It's like kind of like the chicken and egg, but I have found legit, I have studies in my own studies that if you start with the mind and then you slowly incorporate the body aspect of it, You're going to be able to think clearer about personal and professional issues. Okay. So, what are some things that having physical health does? Okay. When you have the physical health, it ensures that you have the energy and endurance, okay? That perseverance, okay, needed to excel in your career, right? High energy levels, and I'm not saying have this like zing, 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 zing all the time, okay? But having high energy levels, being awake and focused, allows you to tackle challenging tasks with enthusiasm, not just dreading it, right? Meeting deadlines and consistently performing at your best. Movement, guys, of any kind, to be honest, increases blood flow to your brain. It stimulates the release of endorphins and it improves mental clarity. Okay, that heightened focus, the creativity and problem solving abilities gained through exercise, the movements, it positively impacts professional performance. Okay. And those of you guys who already do this and prioritize daily movement are often more alert, productive, and better equipped to handle those complex tasks. I mean, how many of you guys walk into your workday and you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready. And then you have an email or you have someone waiting at your office door and you're like, I was not quite prepared for this, but because I got enough sleep, as we talked about last week, I fueled my body with solid, good nutrition, like we talked about the week before that, and I got my movement in for the day. I'm ready. Okay. So that cognitive boost, it becomes actually, listen to this for those of you guys who are job searching out there or who are wanting to level up in your career advance, it actually becomes a competitive advantage. Okay. You can get all of the education, you get all of the certifications, you can do all these different skill based things or whatever. But if you don't have a sound mind, guess what? You ain't going to have a competitive advantage because you're not going to be able to think quickly on your feet and be creative and solve these complex problems. Okay. I remember personally waking up before I had to leave the office and either going for a run when I was a runner, doing yoga or a HIIT workout to get myself going. And that was typically around 5 a.m. because I had to be at the office and I had a solid like 40-minute drive. It was around 5 a.m., guys. Okay. It's not ideal to most people. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a morning person. Well, you know what's too bad. Okay. Get up and do something for your body to get it moving. Okay. And little side note, if you got a red light or you've got a daylight that we talked about last week, shine that on you while you're doing it. Okay. So sometimes I'd also go to the gym on the way home and lift weights or do a group class just so I would feel really good and be able to tone down. And to be honest, if you live in a big city, get out of the rush hour aspect of just sitting there too. Okay. Now, here is a word of caution. First of all, always consult with whoever your practitioner is first. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is don't take on any form of movement without running a few labs. And you're like, Vanessa, oh my gosh, labs, they're expensive. They don't have time for this. And what's it going to tell me? It's always going to tell me something wrong. No, here's the thing. Because if you've had something like complex trauma, you've had childhood abuse, maybe you're a driven hard worker, you have an autoimmune condition, maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I have this constant brain fog, and you end up finding out you have like a thyroid condition, you could actually be doing the wrong type of movement and causing more inflammation in your body, causing you to be sicker, have more brain fog, less energy, more pain, and you could be gaining weight. I don't know about you, but I don't want to gain weight. I don't want to have any of those things. I want to be hot on my game as I'm getting older. Okay. I'm getting younger. I'm getting older, right? Okay. So if you reach out to me using the links in the show notes or on social media, I can run my 3 tests for you so you can clearly understand which sets of movement are best for you. And here's a hint too, I'll be able to tell you what nutrition is best for you, what sleep regimen is best for you, what movement's best for you, and as we're talking about next week, you're gonna have to hold off on that thing for you too. And there isn't a one size fits all protocol. Every one of us was designed uniquely. Yes, the human body still works together in similar ways, but we've all, from the moment we were in the utero, had a different environment and different experience. So we're not going to be the same. Okay. Here, that's the thing. That's the fun thing and the challenging thing about being a practitioner and coach here. Okay. Okay, another thing that movement does is it boosts our confidence. Okay. Ever think about like when you've done a really challenging workout or even just done a fun run with someone or a hike? You feel good. You're like, man, I conquered that peak. I completed my first 5K. Oh my goodness. Think about how you feel. And it also feels good when your physical appearance is better too. You're like, I can fit in my jeans again. Yes, I don't have to wear yoga pants all the time, right? Or oh my goodness, I've got muscles now. You all you guys out there, I've got muscles now and I can fill out my shirts and I feel good about that. Okay? And I'm not here to say that looks are everything. They're not. But those things they do boost our confidence. You got to be real, okay? And that confidence can be an absolute game changer in the corporate world. It helps you assert yourself, speak up in meetings, and take on those leadership roles that you guys were designed to do. Okay. Also, physical health, guys, okay, can help you build stronger relationships. You're like, wait, how can I do this? Okay. We talk about this a lot, and we're going to go into more depth further on, and we do it definitely in my programs. Is networking and building relationships are crucial for career advancement. And not only career advancement, what happens when you get laid off or you have to find another job? You need those networks and those solid relationships. I think we all realized that during COVID, right? And a healthy lifestyle fosters better interpersonal connections. How? Because when you engage in things like wellness activities, group fitness classes, maybe you do a hot yoga in the morning, or you're on a sports team, you forge those strong bonds with colleagues, superiors, business partners. You open up so many different opportunities for growth in your career. I mean, how much fun is it when you have some friendly competition? There was actually there was one company I worked for that had a program for losing weight where the winner got a prize. Whoever lost the most weight got a prize. I can't remember what that prize was. I want to say it was like some financial stuff and like a piece of equipment or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was really cool. And then there was another company that I worked for that actually charged you for bad health activities like smoking or not getting dental checkups every 6 months. I mean, those are the things, guys, that are so important. They foster like, oh yeah, so these people over here, we have X amount of people on our team who are, in this program for losing weight and building muscle, whatever it may be. You could have running groups. You could have a lunch. There was another company I worked in, as I'm now thinking here, that we had a lunch walking group. And you would read books and then you would talk about that book on the walk. Now, it wouldn't happen every day. We wouldn't do that, but we would know. We had lunch Bible studies. We would go and walk. Okay. Those things are amazing, guys. I'm telling you, you don't have to do anything crazy, any crazy programs to be able to be healthy and have some kind of movement. Okay. Now, we know now that these are the reasons why, and there's so many other reasons, but these are the ones I wanted to point out why we should move our bodies. But now, what type of movement should we do? And you're like, where do we get the time as a corporate professional who probably has a family and travels a lot? Now, I'm going to tell you, I worked at a couple companies where I traveled 3 weeks out of every month. I would stay at hotels that um, would have basic kitchen stuff. I would go to the store. I would get the foods that I needed. I always took the stairs. I would make laps. I would walk. Okay. I would walk around, walk the airport. I would do calf raises. I'd go up and down on my toes in the airplane while I was standing waiting in line. There's so many things you can do. So please stop the excuses. Okay. You make time what you want to make time for. Okay. While I always recommend walking, okay, there's no equipment needed. Most of you can do it anywhere. Okay. You can even multitask. Like you can listen to a business podcast. You can call a relative. Okay. Walk with a coworker. Like I said, solve a problem together and be like, okay, we got to get out of the office. Let's go walk around the block and see what we come up with. Movements, guys, fuels things to our brain, gets our body going. And then you're like, aha, how many of you guys have had that? Sometimes you're walking in the freaking grocery store and you're like, I just came up with that idea. Oh my goodness. Wait, I got to write this down. I got to call so and so, right? Okay. My favorite time to walk while working is on lunch. Take 10 to 15 minutes before you eat, walk around the block, walk around the parking lot, or heck, if it's got bad weather outside, guys, or if you're like, I just don't want to go outside, put on your walking shoes and walk around the building a few times. I don't care. Do it. Okay. Don't worry about what other people think. You are doing this for you. Okay. And you never know, it might catch on. Okay. Then sit down to your nutritious meal. And you can go back to the couple podcast episodes ago to talk more about nutrition. Okay. Another time you can do this too is after dinner. Okay. Especially as it's getting nicer out, as this podcast is releasing, we're coming on springtime, I hope. I mean, it's the end of February, but we're coming on springtime here. But get outside with your family and walk. It's a great time to decompress, let your eyes take in that sunset and prepare for bed. Perhaps enjoy some time with your spouse. Okay. Other movement activities I recommend besides walking are yoga, calisthenics, somatic work. And you're like, Vanessa, those don't burn a lot of fat or energy. Well, guess what? I'm not here to talk about burning fat ever. Okay. Ever. I want you to have the mind and body connection. That's what I want. So many of us we're driven, we're focused, and you don't think about your body. You don't think about how maybe making a certain decision at work actually is like gut wrenching to you. You got to think about those things. Okay. Another thing is those activities I just mentioned, the yoga, the calisthenics, the somatic work, actually rely a lot on the mind body connection and your breath. And I'm sorry to say, but not sorry, that most of you amazing professionals don't do much deep breathing. And we need oxygen to our brains to think clearly when you're all the time. Okay. Not breathing deeply, is even as I'm sitting here on this episode, not doing. When you're not doing that stuff, you're not getting the oxygen needed to your brain and to your other cells in your body. Okay. So, no amount of supplements, nutrition, anything's going to work unless you're breathing deeply. Now, if you've had tests run and you're cleared for high levels of impact movement like weightlifting or cardio or HIIT, go for it. Just don't overdo it and mix it up. Now, my favorite tool to help with that is the Whoop. And I've got my Whoop on my wrist here. Okay. It tracks your daily strain. It measures specific activities and how they affect your body, the recovery, and your sleep, including HRV. And you're like, HRV, another acronym. Is this another business acronym? No. It's linked, it's your heart rate variability, and it's linked to your autonomous nervous system. Okay. And that's the balance between your parasympathetic, as we've talked before, and your sympathetic. So it's your rest and digest and your fight and flight. Okay. You need them both throughout every day. All right. Your autonomic nervous system is responsible for your body's reaction to daily stressors, and it regulates some of your body's most important systems, including your heart rate, your respiration, your digestion. Okay. And so the greater the magnitude of your rate fluctuations, which is that variability, how it fluctuates, or the changes between beats, the more sensitive and capable the physiological reflexes are to help control your autonomic nervous system. So here's a little rule of thumb. High HRV is associated with rest and digest. Okay. General fitness, good recovery, better stress management. Okay. You want it up there. And I'm not going to give you a specific number because every person is different. Okay. And low HRV is opposite. So let's steer clear of that. Now, side note, if your HRV is low, when you start measuring it and you're going through stuff, don't freak out. If you've had complex trauma, and I did this, okay, when I first started all this, if you have complex or childhood trauma, you're working through it, you've been grieving over something, you've had a loss in your family, whatever that may be, you're struggling in your job, you've got depression, all that stuff, your HRV is most likely going to be low as you start to build that resilience and become a different kind of strong. So don't let them be like, oh my gosh, Vanessa, my HRV is low. I can't do anything. Life sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. No. Okay. We're going to slowly improve it. All right. And so, what are some benefits of improving the HRV? You're going to have improved focus. Okay. You're just going to. You're going to have improved immune function, which, I mean, none of us corporate professionals can afford to get sick, right? Now, if you do, you do. Okay. You're going to have increased stress resilience. Think about that. You're on a project, you're in a meeting, you're just moving and grooving, and something, boom, comes in your office and hits you. You get an email, you get a notice, whatever it may be, you get a call. You're going to be able to bounce back from that stuff very easily. Okay. Because you're going to have tools and you're going to have better HRV and all that stuff. You're going to have improved physical and cognitive performance, as we talked about. You're going to have improved recovery. You're going to have sleep that is optimized. Okay. And I mean, who wouldn't want any of those? Right? Especially as high achieving professionals. Okay. So your career aspirations, your dreams, okay, that next step, that advancement in your career are within reach. And your physical health is the movement is the foundation on which those things can be realized. So please make wellness a priority and watch as it transforms your path to success. Okay, because all the pillars I address in my practice, they directly impact our productivity and our ability to level up and advance in our careers. And if we don't have those in order, we're going to struggle, as you guys probably have been. And please humble yourselves in a minute, okay, whether we have a chronic condition or not. All right. And working with someone like myself who understands your challenges, who has lived this myself and have worked with hundreds of people like you, okay, it's going to allow you to develop the competencies you need to thrive and not just survive. And that's my goal. We need all of you guys, all of you, okay, to use your skills in the workplace to better our communities, our homes, and our country. So if you're ready to advance your career by removing those blocks that are keeping you stuck, click the link in the show notes, get on a call, or reach out via social media, okay? And then I want you to stay tuned for next week when we talk about the real thing, the absolute real thing that is keeping you stuck in your career at the level that you're at right now, okay? Until next time, guys, keep on designing the best you.